Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Journey Out podcast. We appreciate all of you for tuning in, for listening, liking, commenting, sharing, and just getting the word out about everything that we do here at the Journey Out podcast. Like always, we have another amazing episode.
Yes.
Let's just hop right into it, okay?
I know some people probably had it hard, but I was blessed. I ain't never saw my mom and dad stressed. They only shows success. I'm living comfort from the sweat off they backs, and that's why all I ever wanted was to give it back. I'm not ashamed cause I was raised right. Nope. I would only be ashamed if I didn't help you fight through the pain, help you journey out the games that your mind played. No matter what, I'm never letting my shine fade away. Forever searching for knowledge, hoping I find grace. Keep your intentions pure, be sure about the risk you take. Pop said failure builds character. I came up short a time or two. Your mind know what your heart been through. Don't let that pressure startle you, and faith out in the Lord will do you justice. We sat and we discuss it. This assistance for the public. A little love will help recover from your struggle. If iron sharpens iron, and let's journey out together forever. J.O.P. It's Journey Out. Journey Out podcast. Welcome to the Journey Out podcast.
Now, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Paul Fritz. How are you doing this morning, first and foremost?
Doing fantastic. Thank y'all so much for having me. I'm excited to get started.
Good. Wonderful. So we won't beat around the bush. So just first, tell our audience who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I am Paul Fritz. I am the real estate broker for Fritz Realty Group. We service majority of North Texas, and we specialize in seniors, divorce, and probate real estate.
Okay. So you build a strong reputation of serving seniors in real estate. What inspired you to specialize in this area?
So inspired me specialize seniors specifically. I've always had a heart for teaching, for helping people, for loving and serving the community. And whenever I made the switch from commercial real estate to residential real estate, I found that they're a historically underserved community. The life cycle for a senior in selling a home or moving to the next step is a little bit longer. It takes a little bit more know-how and a little more empathy, a little more love and compassion to serve them. So I just noticed they were underserved. So I started to seek out what education can I get? What experience can I get? Who can I work with to learn more how to serve them? And it just kind of snowballed from there.
So awesome. So now, as you're serving seniors, like you said, you saw a gap. You wanted to help them out. So what was something specific, like a certification or anything that you got to really make sure, hey, I can help seniors in this way?
Okay. So the first thing I started to do was look online, like what's out there. And there's not a whole lot.
Right.
But the National Association of Realtors has a program called the SRES, or Senior Real Estate Specialist.
Okay.
So I went through that program, which is extra education, experience requirements, things like that, to really know how to serve that community.
And so why is it important for seniors to work with people who are SRES certified?
Okay, so I would say the biggest reason is the extra training and experience. In a traditional or normal real estate transaction, there's going to be, they're buying or selling a home, they're going to the next step, they've kind of got in mind, why am I buying, why am I selling? When you get to the senior, there are so many different options out there, whether it's going to be an independent living community, assisted living community, maybe memory care, skilled nursing, something like that. But there's also like over 55 communities, condos.
Right.
And when the senior decides to move, sometimes that's like a 2-year process, right? So you got to be able to come in the beginning, and let me back up a little bit. What we like to do in the beginning is, how can we help the senior age in place?
Right.
Okay. There's technology we can use? Are there things we can do at the house, like maybe some ADA compliance to help them stay in the home longer, because they've usually accumulated a lot of stuff that they don't know what they're going to do with. Right. They're usually downsizing. I hate that term. Or rightsizing, because it's more than just the stuff.
Yeah.
Right? It's, maintenance on the house. It's upkeep. It's cleaning, things that we don't think about that we take for granted. That may be the issue. Not necessarily they need to be in a senior community.
Right.
So it is all of those steps that a SRES agent goes through and knows and experiences, hey, we can do these 3 things and you can stay at home another 2 or 3 years before you need to make a move. Let's save money. Let's plan the future. And it's so overwhelming for the senior that's really what they need, is somebody with some guidance. How do we have home health care, home transportation, and technology, get the adult children involved so that they can kind of see what's coming. And it's usually a good indicator of, how do we get affairs in order? A lot of people don't have wills, estate plans, medical directives. So it opens up the door for that conversation, which all of that stuff, other than putting a sign in the yard and selling the house, your normal agent doesn't do.
And I love that, because I was going to say, it's kind of like, you're a realtor, but also you're like a concierge, just awesome. Like, you just cover all aspects.
It sounds like strategic planning. Hey, this is our goal. This is what you want to do, but let me help you walk you through this step to get there. Wow.
Right. And so not only do you help through the SRES, right? But you also have a kind of a hand in divorce real estate, right? So kind of talk to me a little bit about that.
So in my journey in residential real estate, I started off life in commercial. I worked for a property management company, developer, but you couldn't really love and serve people, right? You're all about making money. How is Target going to make the most money building a new store? So I went to the residential side. And in the beginning, God just, my prayer is, God, put the people in my path that you would have me help, right? I want to love and serve. My motto in life is encourage, enlighten, and empower, right? I want to help you believe no matter what you want to do, it's possible. I can come alongside you and partner to equip you to do that and teach you how to do it. So when I got into residential, I was getting a lot of disabled veterans. And again, a little bit harder deals. But that's who God's put on my heart. That's who he's put in my line. So that's why I'm helping them, having to learn the VA process, learn how to file for disability, learn how to get property tax exemptions. And it went from that to I started working with a lot of people going through divorce. So again, I said, okay, how can I help them? And there is no National Association of Realtors or big box divorce certification. You kind of got to go outside the industry. You got to partner with attorneys and things, because what's happening in the divorce aspect, people will get divorced. They don't understand real estate, and the divorce attorney may not always understand real estate. So the divorce decree would say one thing, but when they go to sell the house, we have to do something different. Okay. So I started coming across people just naturally that, for example, they got divorced. The attorney put in the divorce decree. The spouse leaving gets X amount %. The spouse staying has 60 days to refinance. Well, they can't usually, that's all, but there's no remedy in the decree. So I had to go learn how to do that, which led me to now we have a bar accredited National Bar Association for Attorneys, CE course, CLE course that we teach now in Ellis County to teach attorneys, hey, here's the implications down the road for divorce. So let's write the divorce decree up front, knowing the end in mind. I kind of answer your question. So I want to tell you.
No, that's good. That's good. So staying on that for a little bit, how difficult is it when someone is going through a divorce, and when it comes to who owns the property or who gets the property, how difficult is that for you?
So it can vary wildly, right? It depends on how amicable the divorce is, what's in the divorce assets. So we're all of that. But typically, one of the spouses wants to keep the house, right? And if there's children involved, I think, and the consensus is, if someone can keep the marital home, that's better for the kids, right? So that's again, it's not to sell the house. How do we get the house titled correctly, the deed correct, so that the house spouse is what we call them, keeping the house. The out spouse, the one leaving, also gets compensated fairly, right? It's an interesting dynamic, because as the broker, as the real estate agent, both of them are my client, right? So I can't go say, hey, here's what you need to do to get a better deal. It's both of them, and it's fair. So to answer your original question, how difficult is it? It depends. But typically, when you have to sell the house, if the divorce is not final, you need both parties involved, which can be difficult. You need both parties to agree on prices and repairs and all the things that would go into a regular one. When you're still married, you're a team. When you're divorced, you're not. So it is in the divorce decree, if we can up front make that clean break of who owns what and what the plan is, it's a lot easier than if it's not. I've had people get divorced, move away. They come to me 2 years later. I can't keep the house. It's getting too expensive, maintenance, upkeep. And they're estranged.
Right.
Like we can't get the other person, but they're still on the deed. Right. They're still on the mortgage.
Yeah.
Right.
That's and I didn't even think about this part to bring up until I just said that. The person leaving in divorce, like the one not getting the house, typically both people are on the mortgage.
Right.
Well, if you don't refinance that house, you can deed the property over to the house spouse, but you're still on the mortgage. So when you try to go buy a house, you usually don't qualify because you got to qualify for 2 mortgages.
Wow.
Right. So it's down the road. That's what I mean. Like attorneys don't understand, mortgage finance. That's not their job.
Right.
That's not the, right.
Right. So
Right. I
wow, that's interesting.
It is. And I think also too, this is the reason for conversations like this,
Right.
because a lot of people don't know about that. I mean, you just think about, I have a realtor. You don't know everything that you could have to make my next move the easiest move. If I'm a senior or if I'm divorcing, how can I make this actually work for both parties, but also for myself in the future when I'm looking at passing stuff down to my kids or little things like that. So I love that you
absolutely.
So when you're saying passing things down to generations, so what are some of the most common concerns that seniors face when selling their homes, and how do you assist them with that?
Okay, so the biggest concern when it comes back to seniors is they're just simply overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. They don't know what their next move is going to look like. So it's a consultation. I would get myself more of a consultant than a salesperson, right? I'm going to come in and say, okay, what are your goals? If the goal for the senior is to age in place, if it's to retrofit the house with some things we can do, technology, if their goal is lower maintenance, maybe we need something like a condo or an over 55 community where they're not responsible for the exterior. If the goal is healthcare, then maybe it's an independent living, assisted living, or skilled nursing. The biggest hurdle, to go back to answer your question, is they're overwhelmed because they don't know their options. I guess that's the best way to say that. So it's a consultation to help them understand their options. Everybody has this idea, I got to go live at the old folks' home or something like that. And nobody wants that. Well, whenever you can educate them, go take them to some of these communities, show them what's available, it takes that burden off. So now we're just, okay, what do we do with the stuff? We help walk through, well, you need to have a meeting with any kids. To go back to your point of who gets what, right? Let's have a big dinner. Everybody can kind of, there's tricks. You can put stickers on the back of furniture, keepsakes and antiques, put names on it. I always tell the seniors, and this one I love, and I got this from one of my teachers in the SRES class, give the stuff to your kids and your family while you're still with them.
Right.
Enjoy that process and them getting to get it, receive it, and enjoy it while you're still there. So we walk them through that. And then the estate sales and the garage sales and the donating stuff. And there's so much that goes into it. Pets, right? They can't take their macaw parrot to the senior living.
Yeah.
What do? Well, you got to have connection with the SPCA. You got to have a connection with different animal groups that have places to rehome animals, exotic animals. There's just so much that goes into it. It's just simply being overwhelmed. And somebody who's been through that process a lot, they can say, okay, here's the immediate next step. Don't worry about the rest. And this is going to be a 2-year journey, a 6-month journey, but we're here for you.
So when you, like you say, it's overwhelming, right? And then the family and their support can get emotional and overwhelmed by this, right? So going into that, how do you got the families do the emotional aspects of downsizing or transitioning a level to a senior community?
So it is empathy. It is love. It is patience. It is our core mission at Fritz Realty Group is to love and serve. We love and serve our agents, our communities, and our clients. So it is that level of service. Sometimes it is just talking through almost like a counselor that they're heard and that they're valued, right? So that's step number 1 is empathy. Number 2 is education. And that goes back to I'm just an educator by heart. So I feel like when you can educate people, yes, they're still going to be emotional, and you got to give them a minute, right? They're leaving a home. They may have lived there for 20, 40, 60 years, right? That's a hard thing. And to understand, hey, we can talk about that. Go take this time. Don't make a financial decision right now versus somebody who doesn't know that. They don't understand why you're not deciding. This is a great offer. Why aren't you taking it? It's not going to get any better. I get it. There's value in things other than money. Let's consider that. But if you don't have that experience, you don't know what to look for, right? And then knowing emotionally who in the family is I don't want to say the decision maker, but kind of the rock, the person that everybody leans on.
So when you say that, do that mean decision maker, the power of attorney, or something like that? But could that be the rock, or do you say, okay, this is the rock? I know the power of attorney to make the decisions, but I need to speak to this person.
That's a very good question. It can be the same person. It can be a different person. Majority of the time, the person who's power of attorney or the trustee or the executor of a will or something like that, they're going to be the most rational person that they could find or that they knew at the time, right? The most responsible person,
right?
Which those people tend to be decision makers, and they focus on, here's the best course, here's the best monetary course, here's the shortest course of action, here's what we got to do. The rock could be that person, or it could be the emotional rock that kind of keeps the family together. And to be able to identify those people and say, okay, when I talk to this person, hey, here's the numbers, you go talk to the CPA or whatever, we'll make that work. And then you go talk to the next person, hey, I understand what you're going through. Here's some resources if they need, a counselor or something like that. And then here's just me. I mean, I've literally hour-long phone calls with clients just because they're concerned about the same thing over and over, but just to comfort them, right? So when you find that rock in the emotional state, then everybody else is comfortable.
Right. I love that. And so we've talked a lot about education. I know that's super important to you. That's super important to us, which is why we're even having this conversation, right? Education is what gets our people to do what is needed to sustain, the quality of life and build their families up. So now I know you launched a video series.
I did.
You launched a video series. It's called Senior Living NTX. So talk to me a little bit about that. And what are you trying to do with that? What has the response been like launching those series?
Okay. So we launched that originally because I can only talk to so many people, right? And I was talking to my wife. My wife works with me, as y'all know. She's my marketing person. She's like, we need to do video. And we need to not just be me talking all the time. So I need to interview other people. We had a podcast there for a little bit, and then that kind of transformed into blog posts and podcasts and video series. So the goal of Senior Living NTX is to educate people in North Texas on what their options are. So I go interview senior living communities, and I do a video tour so that people can say, hey, this is like a hotel. It's not like a hospital. The people that are friendly, they're family. But then I go interview like rideshare people, home health care, the technology that's available, everything that I can think of that a senior might benefit from. I try to interview those people to get it from them so that the senior or their adult children who maybe are on YouTube find it, because everybody's got the same questions, right? We all don't know what we don't know until we find it. So that they can find that, they can then move forward and say, hey, there are options. So that way, whenever they do talk to, whether it's me or any other SRES agent, they know what questions to ask. They're more educated, to your point, about the process. They now know what they didn't know before, and they can make a more informed decision.
Love that. And so with you going to these different communities and talking to these different agencies, what are some of the trends or standout features that you have seen across the board when you've spoken to them?
So the biggest thing that stands out to me, and until I really started serving seniors 5, 6, 7 years ago, like at a true real capacity as a goal, I didn't know what I didn't know. I started this partly because my grandmother had dementia and she had to go, live at the skilled nursing community where it just wasn't that great, right? So I'm like, is this really all we have? So when I go look at communities today and I see they have Olympic swimming pools and they have full gyms, they have workout, media rooms, movie theaters, hair salons, they have everything there. It's almost like going to a resort, and it's built like a higher end interior apartment complex, right? Or community where it feels almost like staying at a hotel. They clean your room for you. They do your laundry for you. There's on-site food and it's good, right? It's an actual chef that makes it. I've eaten there sometimes just when I'm in the community or out there. I'm like, hey, let's grab lunch. But the biggest one is probably the ones that really feel like a community, where the people who work there, serve there, and love the residents. And it engages the senior to a point where the quality of life increases, right? Everybody thinks it's going to be more restricted. It's going to be more rules in this, but really it creates freedom.
Yes,
right?
it
You
does.
don't have to worry about mowing the yard, doing the laundry, cleaning, or you get to go play bridge. You get to go on the field trip,
Fellowship,
the fellowship. You get to go to services. You get to do so much that's there for you. So it's a whole different world. And I could talk forever just about those things, but those are the big two: the amenities and the culture.
Yeah.
So what we do, our mission is to love thy neighbor as thyself. Treat people how you would want to be treated.
Yeah.
And you often say your mission is to love and serve.
Yeah.
All right. What do that look like for you and for your team?
Okay. So love and serve, spoiler alert, it's just the gospel.
Right.
That's all.
Amen. Yeah.
And we were working through, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Simon Sinek or any of his stuff, like Start With Why. He wrote, Start With Why, we're going to find your why. So when I was working through that, that's where I came up with my encourage, enlighten, and empower others. And it was great, but I was like, there's something else. And it just hit me one day, love and serve, right? If I go love and serve my agents, I go love and serve my employees, my company, they're going to be way better equipped to go love and serve our clients. And love and serve our clients, they're going to love and serve the community, right?
Love that.
So we do a lot in the community. We sponsor a lot of stuff, schools. You kind of you can say whatever you want to say, but if you don't actually go do it,
right?
It doesn't mean anything. So it is building a culture at our workplace where you're not just an employee, right? You if somebody's maybe not hitting the numbers for a quarter or something like that, it's not, hey, get your numbers up, you're out. It's what's going on. So it's happening in all this. I know that you're this person and you do these things. So how can we help get you back there?
I love that. And that's everybody that we bring on is we're selective.
Yes.
You're very selective that we bring on. And we're selective because we know our standard. Our standard is always faith, family, love, and service. That's what we stand on. Yes. And so when we have people who come on and we want them to have that same like-mindedness, because when you do that, you impact so many more people. Right. When you are moving with love, when you're moving with service. So I love
and when you're keeping those biblical principles and guidelines, man, from that you bring into your life, and then you exude that through your team and your family. Yes, that's awesome.
So I love it. See, we don't just be putting randoms on here, okay? This is serious business, okay?
It is divine appointments.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So now, okay, back on subject, okay? Because I can go on a tangent about that. Now, what advice would you give to an adult child who is trying to get their, loved one to transition, or they are, as you would say, right-sizing to where they need to be?
Okay. My number one piece of advice, and it's the one thing that people typically don't do, is start early. Right? As humans, we are all about cure, not prevention. Right? And I understand it. I do the same thing. Yeah. But the earlier you can start, better. And whatever starting looks like to you, whether it's talking to an attorney, whether it's talking to a senior living community, whether it's talking to a real estate agent or broker or whoever, just start asking the questions. Go online, go to YouTube, start looking, because what typically happens, mom or dad, you might notice they're forgetting some things. And we all say, oh, that's just, we just get older and we forget things. Yeah. And we don't look at that as maybe that's some cognitive decline. Because we don't know, we're not a doctor. And then what typically happens is mom or dad fall or get hurt. And now it is this emergency thing to make sure they're healthy and okay. But then mom or dad can't live in the house anymore. Right. Well, by that point, there were probably signs along the way.
Yes, we was ignored.
We ignored them. We didn't catch
not purposely. It just,
it just kind of, some people do ignore it because they don't want to acknowledge the truth.
True.
Some people just aren't that involved. Some people don't want to deal with the emotions of it. But anytime you see that stuff and have that conversation, with mom or dad, they know they don't want to burden. Most of the time, mom or dad don't want to burden their kid. Yeah. But their kids have lives that they're doing. Right. But the kids want to help. Right. We want to, and I can say this because it started with my grandmother. Several of our agents have had parents and grandparents that have gone through dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that. And that's why we do kind of what we do with seniors and in probate, because we've all personally been through it. And we did the same thing. We ignored signs. We didn't want to deal with it. Now we're reacting, and there was no resource. So we're trying to be that resource and bring attention So at least when it happens, you know there's a YouTube channel or a podcast.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
With information, yeah.
Yeah, you can look up SRES, you can look up independent living, and then any of those people can get you where you need to be.
Wow. Okay. So tell me this before we go. I want you to let the listeners know where they can find you, where they can watch your NTX videos, and give them your platform and all that information.
So the easiest place is fritzrealtygroup.com. We also have on YouTube, Senior Living NTX is our YouTube channel where we're putting exclusively just the educational videos, right? Blog posts and videos. Fritz Realty Group has our blog posts, and we're on all the major platforms. We're on TikTok. TikTok like it's major. Facebook.
It's major. It's
getting there. Well, it's up and down. But Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, it's all Fritz Realty Group on all the platforms.
Okay. Back to the last question you about decision making and planning, right? For that 18 to 25-year-old, that 25 to 35-year-old, what would be your best advice for them?
To know that you've got a long life and a lot of stuff's going to happen. And to just try to understand you don't know what you don't know. You don't know everything. And here, we're going to get off topic a little bit. I guess it's real estate. You have to get in the game, right? A lot of times people think, oh, I'm buying a house when I'm an adult. When this happens, I don't feel like I'm 47. I still don't feel like an adult sometimes. I'm just like, wait, I'm doing all this. So anyway, get in the game, go educate yourself on it because it's going to be your parent. It's going to be you one day, but it's going to be your parents. It's going to be your grandparents, aunts, uncles. And here's a personal story that hits kind of close to home for me. We think it's so far away, and I just said parents, grandparents, all that. My wife's sister was in a car accident almost 2 years ago now. Wrong way driver. She was 40 years old. She just turned 40, 2 kids. Wrong way driver hits her. Now she's disabled, she's blind, memory loss, things like that, where I didn't think a 40-year-old, she had a will because that's what I knew. Right. But not like directives, not powers of attorney. So when she was in the coma, she can't do anything. Right. Because, she's not deceased. The will doesn't take effect. So that opened my eyes like, man, even at 20 and 30 years old, you don't know what would happen tomorrow. And we hear that. I heard that a million times. But we don't know what can happen tomorrow. So have those things in order. So to your original question, I'm sorry, I'm long-winded.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Know that we just don't know what we don't know. So educate yourself. And number 2, start planning. If it's, even if you don't, people think, well, I don't own anything. I don't need a will. I promise you, I've seen people fight over a lighter, right? So what happens to that, especially when you get kids, have the durable power of attorney, medical power of attorney, so that people can make decisions for you. You never know. And in that accident, there were 4 people that were involved that were all in that same situation. So
thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Because again, everybody just thinks, we're going to get up the next day and we have all the time in the world. And we don't know what's going to happen when we walk outside those doors. So I appreciate you sharing that and giving that wisdom to our audience because it's absolutely needed. And just thank you for being here. We appreciate you. We're honored.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. And thank y'all for doing this. I mean, it's a wonderful thing with the good God-honoring spirit to it that is going to help a lot of people. And I think it's awesome.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Paul Fritz, broker-owner of Fritz Realty Group. We specialize in divorce, probate, and seniors real estate. If you or a loved one are going through any of those life transitions, we'd love to help you out and be a resource for you. You can find us at fritzrealtygroup.com, on all the major social media platforms at Fritz Realty Group, or reach out directly at broker@fritzrealtygroup.com.
And with that, you guys, we are out. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Journey Out podcast. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and just make sure you get it out to all your friends who could definitely use this information because, like we said, you have to prepare now. So we will see you on the next episode. You guys be blessed, and we're out.
We're out. Peace.